Hi, Steve here. Thank you for joining me again for another edition of Big Bore Guns. Today we're going to be looking at a little bit different cartridge than I typically look at. Typically when I do videos, it'd be for some cartridge like one of these. Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum, Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum, 454 Casull, something along those lines. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about a cartridge I used a lot when working undercover assignments. And it's this little cartridge right here. This is the 380. So if you compare the two, of course, there's a significant difference in size, where this is not as practical for everyday use. A gun developed in something like a 380 cartridge can be very concealable, easy to carry in a lot of situations, and very effective for self-defense. So today I thought we'd cover 5 different 380s. We'll talk a little bit about guns I really like and guns I don't like at all, and why that is. We'll also do a brief overlook of each of those. We'll look at their weight, the trigger pull, their size, and see if there's something in this line that you like. Now, if you have a better gun that you really like, or have some comments about these ones I'll show you, I'd appreciate if you just go down below, submit your comments at any time. Also, if you would like or subscribe to this video, it helps my channel out a lot. So let's get started in these guns right away. So in my career in law enforcement, I worked deep cover quite a bit. Sometimes those assignments would be something like, hey, the governor needs a bodyguard. You need to be in a very deep concealed situation, stand close by, and make sure that governor is protected during the speech. Or it's something like when I worked undercover for several years in narcotics. I needed a gun that didn't look like I was a cop, needed to be something I could conceal easily, and I was comfortable with shooting. And so that's why I've selected some of these guns. So we'll start out now at the bottom of my list. And this gun I actually purchased in 2017 when somebody asked me to lead a security team for a local church. I actually started that security team and built it because I'd received a request from a local commander of the police department that said, hey, we really need to get a church security team in that church. Will you go ahead and get that built out and set up? So I did that for about 5 years. Now, being the director in that, and I had about 21 different people working on that team, I wasn't the one right at the center of things. Typically, I was the one that kind of watched over me, making sure it was properly trained, making sure everything went smoothly, and kind of went into the command center when needed to do my job. So I needed something compact and concealable, easy to carry, and so this is one of the guns I purchased, and it was a very, very good gun at the time I bought it. It was also very inexpensive, and I had a small budget. I didn't have a lot of firearms back then, but this is the one I bought at first. This is the Beretta Pico. Now I thought because it had the Beretta name, it would be a very good, reliable gun. And it was at first. It didn't end up that way, however. So let's do a quick look at this. Some of the things I really like about this gun is it is very, very slim. It makes it super compact and easy to carry. And it doesn't weigh a whole lot either. Let's weigh it real quickly here. Just under 10 ounces. That's a really compact gun. It comes with several magazines. The one I used the most was the extended magazine. It has this little pinky area here. Because the gun's so small, this just makes it a lot easier to carry and to shoot when it's needed. I should mention that all these guns have been safety checked. They are empty, by the way. I'll show you here real quick on this one. I do not have the magazines in any of them either. So they are safe to show and demonstrate this. Very simple design. There is no safety on this gun. It does have a somewhat exposed hammer. It does come out partially. Each time you do this, you can see it comes out just a little bit, and then it fires. The trigger pull is not too bad for this type of gun. We'll do quickly. Let's check it here. Have my trigger gauge. You can see what it's like. Hopefully you can see that. 3 pounds, 2 ounces. Let's do it again here. £5, 2 ounces. I usually find it's right around 5 pounds. £4, 12 ounces. That's not bad at all. It's strong enough, you can feel confident carrying it. You're not going to get it hooked up on something. It's going to go off in your pocket, but it's light enough to make it easy to shoot. Now the trigger pull is long. I'll show you here. You can see it easily. It's crisp, smooth, has a nice break. But those are some of the good things about this gun. I mean, it is very accurate for this small of a gun. It has pretty good sights. They're raised up. It's 3 dots right up here off the frame, and it does have adjustment for windage, which I really like. It's also designed to shoot plus P loads, which is nice in a 380. Personally, I'd rather shoot a larger gun. I'd rather shoot something like one of my big bore guns, because although this is just a 380 cartridge, it's kind of uncomfortable to shoot because you're holding it here real tight. I have large hands. I tend to get beat up a little bit on this trigger guard, and it's not as comfortable for me to shoot as it is one of the larger guns. But it is effective. It works great. Now the downside. I had this gun for probably about a year. I bought it brand new, and to be honest, it wasn't very expensive. I spent under $200 for this gun, but it tended to be very reliable. But then something happened. It started stovepiping a lot of shells. It didn't feed them properly. I found the rounds didn't go in the chamber properly, or they stuck. I had a lot of issues with it. So what do you do when you have issues with a gun like this that you bought new originally? You call the manufacturer. So I got on the phone with Beretta. They looked over my receipt and said, "You've had it just over a year. It only comes with a 1-year warranty. Sorry, we can't do anything for you. You can call a gunsmith and they'd be glad to work on it for you. But as far as us, we're not going to help you out at all." I wasn't exactly sure what was causing the issue, but I kind of thought maybe it had something to do with the recoil spring. It looked like it was just getting a little bit loose. So I extended it manually a little bit, and the gun worked perfectly. It would work for a while, fatigue, and then start misfiring again. Definitely not reliable. Definitely nothing I could keep using. But I did decide, since I had the gun, let me go buy a recoil spring. It took me a year to find one. No one ever had it in stock. Beretta didn't have it. No third parties made it. About a year later, I did purchase another spring, put it in the gun, and it worked again. I don't know how long it's going to last or how much fatigue. I actually bought 2 springs just in case I had a problem with it. However, this gun became very unreliable after a time. Also, you'll notice here, it has a 3-dot sight, and it does work very well. However, for the time I've had it, and I take good care of my guns, but the little dots are gone. I mean, the paint just wore right out and fell out to be repainted. But I think that's kind of sad. It shows about how there's a lack of quality control in this particular firearm. I guess the old adage, you get what you pay for, comes true, even if it's a Beretta. So working our way towards some little better options, we're going to bring up this gun here. It's something I wanted to purchase. Now, I have several of these little revolvers. This one is loaded, so I won't be doing any trigger pulls or tests with it. But this is a 22 long rifle made by North American Arms. Very, very reliable little pistols, and they work really good for deep conceal. So with this particular pistol, although it wouldn't be any type of primary weapon you'd want to carry, you could put it on a lanyard and wear it right here. All the times I've been searched with a little gun like this, it's never been located when I've worn it on the lanyard. So I think this is a very good concealable, small, maybe backup option to your primary arm, but very well made. I mean, you can really see the craftsmanship in their guns. There's no sharp edges. All the pieces fit together well, and it's super reliable. So with that information in hand, I decided to purchase this little gun here, and it took a while to find. It was about 6 months before I found one available. Also unloaded. Magazine's not in here. This is the North American Arms Guardian in 380. Now this comes in both the 380 and a 32 ACP. I went with the 380 because it has a little more power and it's a cartridge that I prefer. Let's take a look at the weight of this particular gun. £1 8 ounces. It's quite a bit heavier than the little Pico. It's also, the profile, it's a lot wider. It's a bulkier gun. For my big hands, it's much more comfortable to hold. It has a nice big grip. Fits my hand very well for a little compact 380. The sights, they aren't much. This is kind of a point and shoot sights. However, you'll find it is extremely accurate when you use those sights. They're just very hard to see. It's also all metal construction on this stainless steel pistol, which attributes to its weight. It's made in the USA in Provo, Utah, which I think is pretty cool to support an American company. Now the trigger pull on this, let me show you what it is. It's actually improved over time. It was really, really bad when I first got it. It is really tight in here. 7 pounds, 4 ounces. £7, 6 ounces. So we're all around between 7.6, 7.8 pounds most of the time. And like the Pico, there's no safety. That's one of the reasons to have the increase in trigger pull. You're going to carry this in your pocket. You don't want it to get latched on something and perhaps go off. You need a little bit heavier trigger pull for that. Now there is quite a bit of take up in the trigger. See here. And it's long. It's much longer than any other gun I have. It breaks very crisp. You have to go out fully extended before it resets, but it is heavy and long. If you watch some other reviews, you'll see people do comment on how heavy and long the trigger pull is. You do get used to it after you shoot it for a while, but it does take some time, and that can affect accuracy if you're not used to shooting with a heavy trigger. It can make it difficult to get on target. However, just like the little revolvers, it is very well made. Now, I did have problems with this gun when I first purchased it. When I first bought the gun, I took it out to shoot it, and after just a few rounds, this mag release here, for some reason, stuck in the open position, and the magazine dropped out, and it blocked the gun. I couldn't do anything. It wouldn't fire, it wouldn't work. I contacted North American Arms. Fortunately, they were willing to fix it and address it because they come with a lifetime warranty. However, it took a long, long time and several emails to get it done and get it fixed, which was kind of a disappointment when you just bought a brand new gun, you're excited about having it, and there's problems. However, now it works fine. I've shot it multiple times and have had no more issues with it. They sent back a notice that they replaced some springs, they replaced this mag latch, and got it all working again. So I do plan on keeping that gun, and I do think it's reliable now. I've had zero issues since they fixed it, and although it's a little bit on the heavy side, it's very easy to carry. If you're looking for more of a full-size 380, maybe for somebody that's recoil sensitive or just learning, this is a gun I did have for a long time. I actually gave this to my daughter. She really liked this gun. That's why I have a picture with me right now. It's the Beretta Cheetah Model 84 FS. It's stainless steel and very reliable. She loves that gun, and when she got married and moved away, she did want to take that gun with her because she enjoyed shooting it that much. It's a great gun to teach people with because it's on the heavy side, which minimalizes the recoil a lot, and it's double and single action, which is something I also like. If you're looking for a larger gun, you're recoil sensitive, definitely a gun I would recommend. Sorry I didn't have the Cheetah with me, but it is a very nice firearm. You can watch some other reviews online about that. The next gun has some very, very mixed reviews. I actually purchased it for my wife. She really wanted another Walther. She really loved the one I used in the police department, but I found one that was in her favorite color, this bluish color. Now this is a very affordable Walther PK380. Again, online you're going to see some very mixed reviews on this gun. Some people love it, some people hate it. When I first got it and gave it to my wife, she liked the color. But when we went out and shot it, she didn't shoot it very well and did not really like this gun at all. I was a little disappointed by that. It sat away for a long time. Now there's some things definitely that made me skeptical when I first got this, and one of those things is the build. I mean, it does look nice. There's no sharp corners, the finish is good. But it's kind of clunky. I mean, this is an all aluminum slide. Of course, it's not loaded like I said before. It is super loose. Hope you can see that. I mean, it is loose on here. Even the barrel is loose. Now, it is a floating barrel. It's made to be loose and move around like this. However, man, I just don't think it should be like this after it closes up. It is double action, single action. It does have a hammer exposed here. how clunky this is? I mean, I was not impressed with that at all. I didn't think it would ever be very accurate. I was surprised that it is actually extremely accurate. Kind of reminds me of some of the really old military 1911s. You know, they're kind of clunky here. They kind of have a lot of looseness in the slide, much heavier slides than this, but they are super reliable. You can put them through the mud, take them through anything. They survive. I imagine that's something like this. It's just feels loose, but man, it does perform. Had never had one misfire, never had one issue. Have shot many types of ammo with it, no problems at all. Let's take a look here at the trigger. So double action, single action. Let's take a look at the double action first. 5 pounds, 11 ounces, not bad. Let's try it here again. 6 pounds, 11 ounces, a little bit higher. Kind of slipped on my hand. Let's try it one more time. Try it again. 4 pounds, 12 ounces. That's not too bad of a trigger in double action. A single action, to be honest with you, is not a whole lot better. It's just shorter. Let's get it here. 5 pounds, 6 ounces. Right there with about the same pull as the double action. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, you're going to get consistent trigger pull no matter what method. It's just much shorter here. 4 pounds, 12 ounces. It doesn't lighten up much when you're using it single action, which is very, very unusual for a handgun like this. In double action, it's pretty long. If I had a bullet in there and I was shooting at a range, you'll see the reset's not bad at all. In single action, very little take up, and it goes off. So since my wife didn't like this gun, and I shot it occasionally later on and began to kind of enjoy shooting it once in a while. I had one of my daughters that really likes this gun. I took her out with it, and she shot it very well, very accurate. It was the first gun she ever shot, and she really enjoyed it. So this is a gun that I'll hang on to and that she loves to shoot. Also, I should mention, let's weigh it real quick here, like we did the others. See what it comes back at. £1 pound, 1 ounce. It's also not too heavy of a gun. About the same weight as a North American Arms gun. However, you can see it is much, much bigger than this gun. Nearly full size. So about the same weight, not nearly as compact, probably because of this aluminum slide, makes it much lighter. But you can see there is a massive difference between these two in size. This you're not going to stick in your pocket. It's more of a full-size gun, but it's very comfortable to shoot, easy to train somebody to shoot with, and extremely reliable. That covers the first 4. So this last one I'm going to show you is the model of gun I used at the police department more than any other when I worked undercover. So if I was working undercover on a special assignment, this is the gun of choice I carried. Now you'll have to remember this is in the mid-80s, the early 90s. There weren't a lot of semi-automatic firearms available at that time. They just weren't approved. Most police departments were still carrying revolvers, and some carried 1911s. Most officers carry revolvers in the late 80s, and that's what they also trained with. The semi-automatics that were available back then tend to be slightly unreliable. That wasn't a great option in the early days of law enforcement. However, the 380 was a cartridge you could have as a backup weapon or primary if you're working in a deep concealment or undercover. The gun I chose back then was a Walther PPK. Now this is the PPK-S, and this is the one I purchased for my wife, the gun that she loves so much. And she does enjoy shooting this gun a lot. It's a hard gun to beat. A lot of people get on this gun and talk about all the negatives. However, there is a lot of positive with the Walther PPK. First off, what most people complain about is the weight. I mean, it is a heavier gun for a 380. I don't think that's too bad. If you look at the profile here, It's wider than a lot of other smaller 380s. If you take a look at this North American Arms, it's going to get very close to the same profile. However, if you look at something like this Pico, I mean, look at the difference. I mean, this is a much wider, much heavier gun. It's also a little bit bigger, but it does have a longer barrel on it. This particular one carries 7+1. The original PPK, I believe, was 6+1. That's the one I carried at the police department. Very well constructed. It's made out of solid steel. Well made. It does have a safety here on the slide. Also functions as a decock. So if you're getting ready to fire this, let's go ahead and show you it's empty too. I did check it, but I'll show you just in case you want to know. I do have a magazine in this one, an empty magazine. But if you're getting ready to fire it, for some reason you change your mind, you can decock it here by just dropping the safety. And that keeps the hammer from falling all the way down and striking the firing pin. A nice little feature in the PPK. And man, it is a nice looking gun. With all the plastics in today's gun, I really do prefer the look of this all steel gun. I like the weight. I know it's kind of heavy for some people. It is extremely reliable. I've never had a malfunction out of a Walther PPK. I'm sure there's some out there that people complain and do have that issue, but they have licensed several different manufacturers over the years to build the PPK. This particular one was made in Fort Smith, Arkansas, produced here in the USA. This is a gun you can pass on to generations. It's going to last. It's going to shoot. It's going to be reliable. Let's take a look at the trigger here like I did in the other guns. So we'll go ahead and take it off safe. Saw is unloaded. And we're going to go ahead and try it here. Single action. £4, 1 ounce. £4, 1 ounce. That's pretty consistent each time. The double action trigger pull. Let's go ahead and try that out here. £7, 5 ounces. We'll do it one more time since it was so different. £7, 6 ounces. So I'd about 7.5, 7.6 on most times. Not terrible, not great. Quite a bit of difference from the single and double action. The double action trigger pull is pretty long. I have to say it's not near as bad as the North American Arms 380, but it's pretty long. Single action, got a little bit of take up, very crisp. Good trigger. And it's a gun that's very reliable and something I trusted in working undercover, working in executive protection, doing those types of things. It was a gun I could conceal easily. I enjoyed carrying it, and I felt comfortable with it. One thing you'll find on the Walther PPK is it is very accurate. I know the sights don't look like much, but I can tell you I consistently could take this out and shoot it 80 yards accurately. When I was carrying one undercover, I actually took it out and shot it a whole lot. And I shoot at pie plates out about 80 yards because it's just that accurate and well made of a gun, and it shoots consistently on target every time. I've not fired the 32 ACP, but I imagine it's also a very nice gun to shoot. So I know there's a lot of new striker fire guns out there. I know people will really promote them, and a lot of people don't really like this because of the additional trigger pull. People have moved away from double single action, which is actually something I do like. But after using it for so many years and being able to rely on it, it's a gun I would give very high scores to. And this is my favorite on the list of 380s. I think James Bond did a great job selecting this pistol, contrary to what a lot of people will say. Well, I hope you've liked this video. If you have a 380 and you want to make some comments below, that'd be great. I'd love to hear what you're experienced with. I really would appreciate it also if you'd like or subscribe. That helps my channel out a great deal. Hope you have a great day. And thank you again for being here with Big Board Guns.